This episode of the podcast is brought to you by GameFly. That's right, we got another sponsor. GameFly has over 8,000 new releases of classics available for pretty much every single console available. This is basically the best deal if you're a gamer on a budget. For a low monthly fee, they will send you a game basically to rent, and then when you're done playing it, you send it back and they'll send you another one, whatever's on your list. And there's never any late fees as long as you're obviously paying for the service. It works out pretty great. You can also get Blu-rays and DVDs on there as well. So I would highly recommend it if you play one game at a time. And I think they also have other types of deals where you can get more than one at a time. So it's pretty sweet. And if you go to gameflyoffer.com/BThenBTI, you will get a free 30-day trial. So it's pretty sweet. You get to try it for free. So once again, it's gameflyoffer.com/BThenBTI. And now, on with the show.
Hey, what's up, people? It's your boy Blue here for the Before the Cast. And as you can tell, I am riding solo right now. It's just me. Usually I'll ride to the studio with Stitch or Prodigy, but Stitch wasn't feeling well, so he's going to the studio straight from his house. And I am driving my car. So this will be the first time you get to see I call my car Nightwing, so this is the first time you'll see Nightwing. I have a G35 coupe, so it's kind of sports car, compact sports car, but yeah, so heading to the base right now. Usually if I drive my car myself, I usually won't do the Before the Cast. I'll just, save it for next week. But I decided to, do the Before the Cast solo and kind of talk about some shows that I like that we don't talk about on the podcast. Usually because I'm the only one watching them. So I am going to do that. So, one of the shows I really love that we don't talk about is a show called Lucifer. And it comes on Fox. And what's so crazy about it is that it's a DC comic book. So it's a DC show that I feel is doing really well as far as the storyline goes. So I've talked about it a few times on the show, but I haven't really gone too much into it just because, nobody else watches, so I can't really bounce off a conversation of the show with anybody. But yeah, so Lucifer is about, obviously, Lucifer the devil, or he goes by Lucifer Morningstar, and he's given up working in hell and decided to take a vacation, and he's vacationing in Los Angeles, which is also known as the city of angels. And if you didn't know the biblical sense of Lucifer, you know that, Lucifer used to be an angel, and he's a fallen angel, so him going to LA kind of makes sense. But yeah, so right now the show's in season 2, and the first season is him kind of getting used to not really living in a human society, but he's kind of changing. So he runs into a female detective that he can't somehow persuade. So one of his main powers is that he can kind of persuade people to do, not really persuade them, but get them to open up. He asks them what's their deepest, darkest secret, or what's their deepest, darkest desire, and they usually will confess whatever term. So Lucifer basically becomes a contractor detective for the LAPD, and he works along with the female actress. I can't think of her name, but she's a pretty cute looking white lady. She's got a daughter. She has a daughter with her ex-husband, who also is a fellow cop. But the first season kind of revolves around her partner getting killed, and so she's trying to figure out or he doesn't get killed, he's in a coma, and everybody assumes that she's the one that put him there. So everybody in the police department is kind of against her, calling her a traitor and this and that. But eventually he kind of comes out of the coma later on. But yeah, so Lucifer has a brother named I can't remember his name. But he's a black guy. I think it might be Gabriel. I think his brother is Gabriel, and he comes down from heaven to have Lucifer go back to hell, because I guess hell's people are running amok down there, and he needs to go back down there and do what their father, who is God, has told him to do. So there's a scene or two where they actually fight, which is actually pretty cool fight scenes, but you know, they're pretty mellow, but just the relationship between the two is pretty cool. Like, you know, even though Lucifer is looked upon as being like a bad guy, even in the show he's actually not that bad, which is kind of interesting. It makes you take another look about who Lucifer is and his whole backstory. I've never read the Bible, so I can't really say what the Bible says about Lucifer, or I believe his name is really Michael, if I'm correct. I could be wrong, but hey, I'm not a very religious person. But yeah, like Lucifer, like there's people who are doing sacrifice in the devil's name, and he gets pissed off about that. He's like, you know, I'd never want anybody to do this, and like I only punish the people who are being bad. Like he doesn't punish the people. He doesn't make people be bad. He punishes those who do be bad. So that's his whole spiel, and that's the reason why he kind of runs hell. But there's some cool stuff that happens. Like every now and then he'll show his true form, but it's usually in a quick flash, so you can't really see it that well. But it's, if you pause it, you can see, and it's some pretty cool looking makeup. But so while he's in Los Angeles, he works with a counselor, like a psychiatrist, and I'm not sure if he's paying her, but in the beginning he's fucking her. And she talks about how flexible she is. So that's kind of funny, because she's kind of a cute doctor, another white lady. Also, Lucifer owns a bar. He owns a bar in Los Angeles, or it's a club, and one of his demons, or his kind of like his underling, works for him, and her name is damn, it's on the tip of my tongue. I just totally lost it. But she's played by a black lady, a really chocolate waifu status. She's so goddamn hot. But yeah, so she's like the one that does the dirty work for Lucifer. So she's the one that tortures people, where she used to torture people down in hell, and she kind of is an overall badass. And you know, later on as the season goes, like she gets to be more human. She started having more human emotions, but eventually her and Gabriel fall in love, quote unquote love, but then she's more hit it and quit it, and he's more like, you know, I can't believe I just fucked a demon and I'm an angel. So sorry, it's a little bit of a spoiler, but definitely worth checking out the show to find out more about it. But so Gabriel, to try to get the devil, to get Lucifer to go back down to hell, he enlists a guy to help him. Like the guy was in a coma. Well, he pulls him out of the coma because I think his soul was in hell. So he brings him back into the real world and tells him he needs to get Lucifer to go back down to hell, and like that was his main job. But the shit goes south, and some people end up dying that shouldn't die, and yeah, it's a really crazy show. And like the chick that Lucifer is hanging out with, is it Danders? No, that might be Supergirl. But a detective that he's hanging out with, he's starting to have you can tell he's having an emotional connection with, like he's falling in love with her, but he just won't admit it. But because of that, whenever he's around her, he loses his powers. He loses his immortality. He can't really persuade people. Yeah, he kind of isn't himself, and so in terms he can't be like the devil for that short period of time. But once he's away from her, then he's good old Lucifer again. So it's a really good show, and I highly recommend you checking it out. Season 2 has been really good so far. You know, there's some more battle scenes between Lucifer and other angels that has been sent down. One crazy twist of last season is that apparently God had a wife, and she was in hell and she escaped. And one of the rules kind of God puts on Lucifer is that, okay, I won't let you, if you can stay in the human world as long as you capture your mom and send her back down to hell. And the thing with the mom is that she doesn't have a physical form, so she only can take the body of somebody who's dead. So when the first episode of season 2, she's like searching for a body, and so she can be anybody, like a man, woman, child. So it's funny, the one scene she jumps into a man's body, but the guy had just died at like a gang shootout, and when she wakes up, the guy's like, oh, I just killed you, and fucking shoots him dead in the head, and she ends up dying again. But then she ends up in a hot female's body of a woman who was just murdered in a hotel. And the first case that of the season is Lucifer and the detective working to solve the crime, and it all worked out. So but the woman body that the God's mom took, or Lucifer's mom took, is a mom with kids and a husband, and she's like a high paid lawyer, so she has to take on that role of being that lawyer. So it's kind of funny. So even though she's not in hell, her hell on earth is like working with his family, with dealing with this like stupid husband, which is kind of crazy. So overall it's a really good show. I can't stress it enough. It comes on Mondays after Gotham. I haven't read the comic yet. I definitely want to try to look into it and kind of compare it to the show. But when the show first came out, on the show we usually talk about what's the name of that book? I think it's not East or West, but the Wicked and Divine, which talks about Lucifer or Lucy taking on a female form and kind of doing wrecking shit. So it's kind of play on that, but I know that this is actually a DC comic, so at the end of the show, like, you'll see the DC logo pop up. And it'd be interesting to see if maybe there'd be a crossover with Gotham, but that probably won't happen. I think it's different universe and all that. But so definitely check out that show. Tonight on the After the Cast, I'm gonna be talking about American Horror Story, because once again, I'm the only one that watches the show. Even though Prodigy got me into it, Prodigy was the one that got me into it like a long time ago, and right now I think they're in their 6th season. And I think you haven't watched it since then, but it's definitely a good show to check out. So if you want to listen to that, definitely check out the Aftercast. And since we're kind of coming up past a little bit 10 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. So yeah, thank you for watching the Aftercast, or Before the Cast. Sorry, it's nighttime. I'm all confused. Thank you for watching Before the Cast. Make sure to check out the videos down below. Make sure to hit and smash that subscribe button. And like always, keep watching. Until next time.